very special kind of thing, and it's going to be a great time. What's your most memorable Mackinac race, Frank?
Well, I have to go back to '85 again. I'm sure John Burke, who was on here before, told his version of the story, but our version was at Cove Island. We had a person that was getting chest pains in that really terrible weather.
Just let me interrupt to say that 1985 was a year in which it blew very, very hard in the last half of the race. Right on the nose. We're sailing right into it in very, very deep seas and very strong winds. And of the 300 or so boats that started that race, only 200 finished. Round numbers.
Right.
So go ahead.
So it's a pretty long, involved story, but we had one of our people taken off by a launch and taken to Tobermory. And fortunately, it was not a heart attack, but we didn't know that at the time. And we continued, and we sailed and finished the race that year. And I remember that it got very cold that night, and my rain gear was probably not in the best condition. And when I got there, it was just a great feeling. Even though it was probably one of the worst races I've done for the Mackinac, it was a great experience that you remember for a lifetime. And I talked to the old crew about this, and of course we always love to tell the stories. Get taller, as you say.
Yep. Better as they're told.
Yep. But when you say the experience that I really loved about it is my father always came up to Port Huron to see me off till the year that he passed away about 7 years ago. He always came up to see me off, no matter what, even if he wasn't feeling well. And the first thing I did when I got on Mackinac Island, this is before we had the cell phones, is I waited in line at the payphone and called my dad because he wanted to know what that was all about. And even when I still finish, I kind of make that private phone call to him because that's a real special thing to me.
Sure is. Well, it's a great event. You've been working very hard on it, and it'll be interesting to see if the changes that you made result in a greater participation. My guess is they will.
Well, time will tell. The only thing you can do is work as hard as you can, and if the results are great, I think it'll be a better race for it. Certainly, it's a long tradition that needs to be carried on, and hopefully it'll be a prosperous year. Like I say, things are difficult, but I think people will come out to do this race. I
think so. It's the 85th consecutive sailing. Our friends in Chicago have sailed more races, but not consecutively. We've done it through good times and bad, and I think we'll persevere here. Now, you've sailed 29 races, and I know how much you love it. What are you going to be doing during this race?
Well, like I said, I did 25 in a row, and this will be the first time in 25 years that I have not been on a starting boat. I'll be on the starting line, seeing everybody off, and then, of course, being on the finish line when they come in. So it's a whole different perspective for me. It's a little bit strange because I haven't been on this side of the line for a long time. So, but I'm actually excited about seeing all the boats off and that kind of thing because I really like to see this race a success, and what a better spot to do it than at the start and finish line.
Well, I'm just guessing it will be a success. So you'll get ashore after the starts, middle to late part of Saturday afternoon. What's the date again this year?
July 25th.
And you will probably get in the car and drive up that night?
Yes.
Spend Saturday night on the island, and be there with us at race headquarters the crack of dawn the next morning looking for boats.
Yep. Something new. Something new. Yeah.
It's, I think you're going to tell me, and maybe we'll get you back here, I think you're going to tell me that it was an experience well worth having.
Yeah. This is something that I've always wanted to do. I've taken a lot out of the sport, and I wanted to give something back. And hopefully I can do that for the sport of sailing instead of just for myself.
When Commodore Rob Amsler, then Rear Commodore 2 years ago, said, "Frank, I'd like you to be Mackinac chairman in 2009, how long did it take you to make a decision?"
Well, that particular story was First of all, always be careful if somebody offers to buy you breakfast.
Ah,
Okay, because it was right after he got elected, and I got the phone call, and I said, I'll buy you breakfast. And I said, Rob never buys me breakfast. and so he got me up there, and I pretty much had figured out the first thing they do is ask for the new race chairman to volunteer. And I had written it on a piece of paper, race chairman, and after he had finished asking me, I just pulled this thing out of my pocket and showed it to him, and he goes, "You dog." I says, "The answer is yes."
yeah, the answer is yes. Well, it's a great honor. You saw this, the people at Bayview Yacht Club who are close to the sport, deeply involved in sailboat racing, and the Mackinac race is such a huge part of the Bayview culture. You're treated with a great deal of respect as Mackinac chairman. It's almost like being Commodore. You know, there's a great feeling of reverence, a great coming forward of members to help. Have you found that?
Absolutely, including yourself, Ted. I mean, all the work that you've done for sailing, even though I know you're not racing boats as much as you used to.
Or would like to.
Or would like to. But you're out there still giving back to the sport. And I think that's a marvelous thing. And Bayview is full of people like that. Even if they're sailing or not sailing, I get phone calls all the time from people that want to help me. And I think that's a great thing about Bayview.
Well, you've been a great leader. How about kids? Do you know of any children who will be sailing their first race this year, teenagers?
No, I don't.
Well, of course, it's a little early to be registering, but
we just opened up registration.
There are always those.
Yeah,
they're fun to watch.
Yep. There's kids that come out of the junior program that I'm sure that will get their first shot this year, and possibly later in the year I might be able to give you some of those names. But I think we all remember our first Mackinac race. I know I do.
I certainly do.
Yeah.
And I wasn't exactly a kid, but I've been trying to catch up ever since.
Well, I was a young teenager, and it was a marvelous thing because it was on Bob Neasley's New York 32. You probably remember him.
I remember it well.
And so the first year we went up there, it was the old CCA rules, and we were in the cruising class, and we won the race that year.
What a way to start. And that's the way we'll finish our visit, our midwinter look at the Mackinac race. Frank Kern, the 2009 Mackinac chairman, with us working very hard. I'm grateful for the half hour or so you took out of your day to be with us. I wish you all the success in the world, and we'll see you on Mackinac Island and lots of time before that.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll see you next time on Great Lakes Log.